Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast, episode 37, Games of the Decade, The Aftermath. With me, George, and as always joined by Tom, survivor to my walking wounded. How's it going?
Okay, mate. You don't look so good, though.
I am grateful for the very, very mulled wine because it enabled me to take less damage than I thought I was going to take.
So much so, you haven't noticed yet that propeller in your head. Oof. Nasty.
I brush it off. It's like a flesh wound. Tom, let's let them have a rundown. So we did our Christmas special. It was great, but it ended
In disaster.
on a sad note. And as the village, the throng, the survivors, the walking wounded come into Farmerton Village Hall, which has become makeshift A&E, for want of a better word. You're absolutely fine, but you're taking up bed space, but you're not bothered because you get to lie down. I, as you so eloquently say, I've got a propeller embedded in my head, so I've got every single right to be here. Even though
you're all right,
I don't want to call down on your plane knowledge, Tom, but that was a jet. So I'd have a turboprop fan blade embedded in me. I was lucky to survive that. Someone else who wasn't so lucky, my potential date for Christmas, Deb's Babs.
We're sorry to say she's hit the bucket.
Well, Sensei Rios reported back. He was dragging in the wounded along with PCSO. It seems everyone who wanted to help stripped to the waist and greased up their upper body. PCSO Ross Kemp.
Under his guidance, he said it would make the job quicker.
Sensei Rios, he lubed up. Who else lubed up?
Stingray. Ray was there, of course.
You know, he was using the...
And various members of the Unglorious Bar Stewards.
Anyway, not to disrespect my potential date, because we've kind of talked over with the heroes of the night. Deb's Babs was decapitated by a meal tray from the plane. Kind of...
Damn.
Cruel irony. Probably the best thing she ever tasted.
That's too bad.
Okay.
God bless her. Rest in peace, Deb's Babs.
I also hear that Brian from the garage, he was just kind of mercilessly crushed by falling fuselage.
R.I.P. Brian. And sadly, the last casualty of the night, it was like watching a Jedi hold back falling debris. Major Tom used his own body to shield civilians from the wreckage.
Do you know what's sad about that?
What?
His cowardly brother, insert B word here, the cowboy builder, Barry the cowboy builder, the yellow livered piece of slime that he is. Bizarrely,
he's only gone and put a quote into the village hall to rebuild the market square, hasn't he? He's got no shame. It's been 24 hours since the crash.
Got more neck than a giraffe going on Christmas in September.
Unbelievable bloke.
Who else was wounded?
Well, some might be pleased to hear, because of his tyrannical ways around the village, Lord Ponsonbury was paralysed and thus being wheeled around by Haircrowther.
How much of has he lost all of it?
Just from the waist down.
Only from the waist down?
Yeah.
Okay. And what about his faithful gamekeeper, Haircrowther?
Haircrowther, well, we shouldn't laugh. He lost his other eye.
I thought he had both eyes in the law. Page 10, chapter 4. Okay. He has both of his eyes, Tom. Never mentioned before, not even in the drawing that Adam the artist...
We're digressing anyway.
Well,
there's been some bad casualties, some bad wounds, but we're back on our feet. We're down the village hall. You're dishing out first aid. I'm just surveying and making sure everyone's all right and keeping up morale by doing some of my early panto scenes.
Yeah, tone them down a bit now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's people here that can't leave because they're mortally wounded, and you force them to sit through all of your lines completely out of context from the Dick Whittington pantomime.
It seems to be raising a few smiles.
I think that's the morphine.
Okay. Well, for any new listeners, this isn't just absolute ramble.
This isn't the Archers on video games. It kind of is.
It kind of is, yeah. We're a video game podcast set in the fictional village of Farmerton.
It's not fiction.
And we hope you stick around because we're going to give you a quick rundown of how we do things here at the Unofficial Controller podcast. Hit 'em up.
Can you just replace my plasma bag?
Yes.
Thank you.
Done.
Okay, so normally, if it wasn't for the New Year Christmas special malarkey, we would cut straight in with some hardcore, cutting-edge video game news. But before we did that, I'd ask Tom what he's been playing, because that's how we do things on a video game podcast. Then we'd slip into some cutting news, right from the very white-hot edgy gaming, as always, where the Unofficial Controller podcast lives, beneath the mirth and merriment. We then have a feature. This week, as an example, we're going to be discussing yours and our game of the decade.
The features vary, don't they? We do retrospectives. We do.
I don't want to imagine that we're halfway through February still discussing game of the decade. That would be sad.
Yeah.
But we do retrospectives.
We do features on game series. We look at up and coming game shows, E3, Tokyo Game Show. We try and do seasonal events like Halloween,
the inevitable
Christmas.
Special 02 they've got to look forward to.
Yeah.
Tom also dropped.
We've got a trailer out.
2020 trailer.
So if you'd like to know what actually is coming up in 2020, there's going to be lots more, but that's just a snippet of what's coming up.
A taster menu.
Yeah, taster menu for any new listeners and old.
And because this is the show that's all about the listener, we incorporate your comments into the main feature. And, Tom, we also, in what we call Listeners Stingray, have a little look-see at what they've been picking up over the last gaming week. New and old, retro and modern.
Yeah.
Then the big man arrives, hopefully clothed from the waist up this time, and he comes down and he explains to the listeners, the new or casual listener, what this Stingray nonsense is all about.
You want me to do the lore for Stingray?
I do want you to.
Okay, we'll quickly rattle through.
A 5-second.
He is based on an actual person we knew growing up who would deliver.
What's all this based fictional thing? Don't rate it a 4-4, George.
Okay. Well, he is. He was based on a real person.
He is a real person.
He is a real person. He delivers videotapes and various knockoff merchandise around the local villages, mainly Farmerton. But when he arrives, that's when we do our new releases. So basically, what are the new titles coming out that week? So we let you guys know what you can get your grubby mitts on in the commencing week. And we close out with what we're hoping to play for that week coming.
That's exactly right. So, Tom, if they've paid attention, I need to say to you what you've been playing.
Well, seeing as I survived the wreckage, I had plenty of time to do some gaming over the last week. I've been doing some more Luigi's Mansion 3 on the Switch, which is a great little game. Probably the best graphical showcase, I think, on the Switch.
Better than Breath of the Wild?
Yeah, I think that was made for the Wii U, so it's kind of, it doesn't have that little bit of a leap that the current Switch games have.
Okay.
It's got some great little animated features, and the floors are now themed. So I did like a natural history museum floor the other day with like a not too many spoilers, just sort of dinosaur skeletons everywhere and sort of fossils and things and various stuff on the floor that you can hoover up and shoot around. What else have I been playing? Oh, of course, Jedi Fallen Order.
What's that like?
Now, this is a great Star Wars title. I don't care what you say.
Turn my medication up for me.
You don't need strong stuff, believe me, it's good.
I need more medication.
So this is made by Respawn Entertainment, who did Titanfall, Apex Legends, so I think it's in good hands. But also, it's published by the big dirty EA, who we don't always like a great deal. But it seems they've let Respawn just get on and make a really solid action-adventure third-person game. It can be very linear if you don't go in exploring open Star Wars world. You go to different planets on your ship.
I put it to you that if you were given an open world of Star Wars, it would be really boring.
Agreed. I think you're right. I think it'd be too much. I think it wouldn't be done in enough detail. Whereas keeping it linear like this...
What would the casual do? Go Tatooine? Like the dust, the sand gets everywhere.
So you go on, the story leads you to join this crew on a ship called the Mantis, which is a really cool looking ship. You can be inside it, and I tell you what, I'm just going to tell you this a little bit. When you take off from each planet, you can go into the cockpit, and 2 of your crew members are there, and the pilot, obviously, and you see out the window of the ship because it's quite open. You know, where it's a bit like did the Lancaster bomber used to have like sort of full frontal, so you could see below and above, and like any plane like that. The point I'm trying to make is when you fly off the current planet, it transfers from like sky to space, and then bit of razzmatazz on the graphics. It hits the hyperspace.
The blast process button.
It hits the blast process. It hits the hyperspace drive, and the stars just do that thing, and you go through the blue tunnel. And
spoilers for a 2-week-old game.
But that was just one of the moments that really made me think, yeah, this is Star Wars, and it's got a real nice feel to it. I really like the characters. They're all interesting.
That sounds really cool. It's made me want to get it.
Honestly.
That little transition period alone has made me a little bit...
Well, I hope that's converted some of the listeners just to show you the
way.
level of detail in the game.
I don't think my bandages are leaking, and I'm moist.
Really?
Yeah.
Goodness me. Well, it's out now. It's on Xbox and PS4, a PC, I believe. I've noticed a few technical problems with it. Not many. Some have said they're worse than they are. I think it's maybe had a few updates. I went to the Wookiee planet of Kashyyyk, and there was just a few loading problems there. Other than that, it's run really smooth.
You didn't load in the Immortal Christmas special with Chewie and his wife or anything, did it?
No, you can you can scale the difficulty, and I think more games should do this on each difficulty. So I'm doing it on Jedi Master, which is, I think, hard mode. It is pretty difficult as well. I'll warn you, if you're not used to the sort of Dark Souls type games, action adventure games, maybe tone it down to normal.
Unless you're a bigger boy like Tom, play it on medium.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it now.
Yeah, you need to take a note of these interesting things they've done. They have bars with how aggressive the enemy are, how much damage they do. So they're just telling you what they've actually increased in those difficulties. So I think that's cool.
I do find that sometimes in the games you move between medium and hard and insane or whatever it is that you unlock when you
don't really know what you're letting yourself in for.
You've got no idea, do you?
The Wookiees look a little bit janky, afraid to say, but all the other character models, especially the main character and your droid,
what makes them janky? Their height or
the fur doesn't do justice to the characters when everything else looks quite good. Coming off Death Stranding, don't expect too much. That's all I'll say. If you would,
based on the bits I've seen, Saw Gerrera looks like a melted plasticine figure of Saw Gerrera, so I'm not expecting anything.
No, don't. But there's nice little touches that actually you think, wow, that looks really good.
Okay. Anything else you've been playing?
I got a Mega Drive Mini, which entertained us on Boxing Day. A round of applause.
That'll be the only time it gets played. Put it on the shelf, it looks good.
It's actually set up, ready to play all the time, but the box is on the shelf.
Is that right?
And me and my brother, we went through Golden Axe and Streets of Rage. We struggled on Golden Axe, tough game.
Is the law okay with you saying you've got a brother?
Yeah, the law is fine with that.
Okay. We share a mumsy.
I feel like I've ranted on it long enough, and I think I should ask you, what did you play over the Christmas period?
Well, Tom,
all wounded.
They've tuned in,
medicated up,
because they want to know about what's going on right at the white hot edge of gaming. I've been playing Mass Effect, that new game out.
Oh, really? The space opera.
And it's been so interesting, I forgot to mention for the last 2 episodes I've been playing it.
Yes,
or maybe the last episode.
You have.
But I finished it. I think I finished it before, you know. You know, you mentioned we spoke off air and you said, oh, you finished that? And I was like, oh no, I don't think I have. Every single bit I've played through, I've been like, oh, I've done this. And I've done this bit. And I've done that bit.
Yeah. I'm listening.
I've got issues with it. It's an old game, I have to admit, but the dialogue options are in Mass Effect 1. They're not really options, are they? It says the same line, depending on whichever cursor you pick. But there's some good bits. No, I enjoyed it. It was fun. It's certainly ramped up in the end game. Other than that, it was a bit meandering. I did all the side missions and bits and bobs, and now I need to go new game plus that bad boy. I had Tally in my team from the moment I met her because she's going to be my bae.
Okay.
I think she's a quarry.
She's the one with the mask, isn't she? Where you can't see the
her
face. Yeah.
species live on a fleet in space.
Who's your other team member? I'm curious.
Rex.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, the blue skin woman, 2 cookie cutter, going to be your love interest.
Yeah.
The human woman, 2 cookie cutter. And they were like, oh, let's make sure we paint her as a racist, and they gave her all these sort of token anti-alien.
I did tend to mix it up a lot between I think it was Garrus, the sniper guy, and Rex and Ashley, the human female.
Yeah, to me, playing it now, she was just too try-hard a character to be obtuse on purpose, and it made her not very interesting.
I can't wait for you to play 2 because I feel like it's one of those sequels that was made where they improved everything.
I've gone through. I don't think I've played 2 before. So I'm excited to carry it on, which is why I've set up my love interest in 1 with Tally by getting her the Geth information that she wanted.
A lot of people didn't like 3 in the ending. I really liked all 3.
Okay.
I've got faults with them like you have.
Well, when I finish, as we'll move this on quite speedily,
sure,
we'll expedite the scenario. What else have been playing? A little bit more Peace Walker on PSP. Can't get enough of that. A little bit addicted, I have to admit. Not much more to say about that. What else have I been playing? I had a palate cleanser of John Woo's Stranglehold.
You showed me that.
It's glitchy, not as glitchy as Alpha Protocol, but pretty close at times. But underneath it all is a great game. Unfortunately, I've got it on PS3, and it came out at a time before they did trophies, so it's a thankless task.
I was quite impressed with it when you showed me some footage of it earlier, and I
should have picked another level, but I didn't want to erase my save, which I was scared it would reset.
Stands up quite well for a PS3 game.
Yeah, I mean, as I said to you before, everyone looks a little bit Witcher on
Chow
the
Yun
Switch.
Fat, which I hope is the correct actor, he looks pretty good.
On Fat. It does look good. Some of the bits in it are pretty cool. I want the listeners to come back to me because you know that little drum noise in Uncharted when you finish when you do a little checkpoint. It's like dum.
Yeah.
And when you find the treasure, it plays that little panpipe noise. Mm-hmm. Both those noises, absolutely 100%. I'm convinced have either been ripped off by Stranglehold or ripped off by Uncharted, or they've got the same sound director. I haven't researched it yet, but those 2 noises, even with the echo that follows, are in there in their entirety. When you find something, it does a little panpipe noise. So I was like, hang on a minute, it's Uncharted. Very strange. Tom,
I was going to say just quickly, if you're a fan of Uncharted as well, which you are definitely, I think you'll like the general layout of Jedi Fallen Order.
Well, we've talked about this.
From that.
EA had a hell of a lot of... That game that was cancelled was about 70% done. So on the cutting room floor in EA, they've got Alien World 1, 2, 3.
You can definitely see influences from Titanfall. Obviously, same company developing the game. So, yeah.
Tom, it's
Let's
time
get
for
to
the
the
news. We've scoured the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up,
game, back it up. In bizarre news, the DualShock 4 back button recently announced by Sony, and possibly to help align the DualShock 4 to the DualShock 5, backed up by a recent patent reveal, which we had a look at.
Yes.
Will be exclusive in the UK to Game. Goodness know why, and who still goes there?
Well, you like to go down.
I do. I'm a fan of my local game.
The thing is, in our own village, we've got the not fictional store,
Finster
Gamers, which is one of our loyal listeners, opened up a shop in the village. You know,
if you fancy opening a business in the village, get in touch.
That's a Patreon paywall, Tom.
It is, yeah.
Anyway, so you like to go to the other village and go to Game, which is fair enough, or to the local market town. I stick loyal to Finster Games.
Okay.
Game getting this exclusive, first of all, that made me wonder if it was like an accessory we could probably do without, but it transpires that we probably need this.
I have talked to you about this, and I really like it because I play a few first-person shooters online, and I had the Xbox Elite pad, which I found the paddles to be really useful for jumping, reloading, etc. So I think, and for the price, which I believe is £30, I might give it a whirl.
So what's the takeaway for the listeners there? Do they need this, or do they hold? Unless they're right on the edge of like.
Recommend if you can't quite, if you're not going to stretch to like one of the higher tier PS4 pads that are available with all the add-on paddles and buttons and various things, I'd go for that. If you play a lot of shoot 'em ups.
Screen on, it's not Mickey Mouse, is it? In any way, shape or form. I was looking at the screen that shows the buttons that you can select on the back. It's got a little LCD screen on the back of it.
Oh, has it?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's not just a throwaway item.
Yeah. No, I'd be interested to see how it feels in the hands of if the paddles are going to be in the right sort of place.
Off the patent reveal for the DualShock 5, it looks like they're going to be incorporating those Pro Pad ideas into their full-time base pad.
I think that's a good idea.
Interesting stuff.
It'd be nice if they're detachable, because not everyone's going to like them.
In the DualShock 5, I think they're just built in. That's how it's going to be.
Okay. I guess you could turn them off.
But we saw, after the rumours of the light bar going, in the new patent, the light bar survives.
Good.
Which is good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Bit more PlayStation news next.
Ken Kutagari. After last week's Phil Spencer shows his weapon, Ken Kutagari's been sort of you show me yours, you show me mine scenario.
He has.
Ken Kutagari threatens to show his weapon. In a story broken over on Push Square, it seems Sony might be hinting at a PS5 reveal at the Consumer Electronics Show 2020 with the tagline, "The future is coming." Not known for revealing anything here historically, but with 2020 coming soon, this is the time we will see the PS5's physical reveal. So much like Xbox showed the box, are we going to see?
I think we'll just see the box.
What, the box it's going to get parcelled in, or the box that the electronics?
An Amazon Basics box. I think it would be a wise move to just get the image out there.
Yeah.
There's so many leaks and stuff nowadays of like what it might look like. You got to kind of go, no, this is it. This is what it looks like.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of memes where the latest Xbox Series X, or whatever they're calling it, more confusing names from Xbox there. They're going to... I've seen a lot of memes unfairly where it's been made to look like a fridge and this, that and the other.
Like 6 GameCubes on top of each other.
I saw a really hilarious one where someone had turned the PS5 test machine that you send out to had turned it into a cordless Hoover head. You know, the brush attachment looked exactly like one.
I quite like the design of the new Xbox, and it'd be interesting to see what PS5 do.
Okay, next bit of news.
Pirates plot a new course to the Mega Drive Mini. In a new development, the Mega Drive Mini has been hacked. This Project Luna tool allows you to select box art and everything to make it look 100% authentic for the games. An additional 100 games to your Mega Drive Mini. So that's quite an increase to the, I think the 42. There's 40 and then 2 bonus games. But
Tom, bonus games.
Bonus games, yeah.
Don't forget the clap whenever you say bonus game.
Or the word bonus in general.
Yes.
Bill and Ted's Bonus Journey.
You forgot.
But listeners, seriously, be warned. There's a lot of risk involved in doing this, as some of you probably know if you've ever tried it on any mini consoles or any console. It could brick your machine. It could wreck it completely, stop it working. So just take that with
so if you're not financially
a caution,
well off, be very careful.
Yeah.
If you are, or you've somehow ended up with 2 of these, experiment at your own risk. Tom, did we miss anything? Do you have an opinion or take on the news that we miss, listeners? If so, Tom, how would the collective masses get in touch with us to say, actually, do you know what, Ken Kitagari, he's not going to show his weapon? Nothing.
Please let us know your opinions, your thoughts, comment, anything you got to say, guys. Please get in touch. We really want to build the community going into the new year in 2020, and you can do that by reaching us on Instagram or Twitter, direct messages, send us email, which is questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. Most of our community is on Instagram, so if you're thinking of getting involved, probably head over to there. Follow us, like. Also, please leave a review on whatever podcast format you listen on. Are you showing me one of our top listeners there?
It's Mumsy.
Mumsy. Yeah, Mumsy's always liking our content just to give us a little morale boost. as we don't get much.
Luckily, she and James survived.
Oh yeah, of course. They went back anyway, didn't
After
they?
his premonition.
Premonition.
We
Kept them
safely scuttled them off to the bunker, which is built to survive nuclear apocalypse.
Oh yeah, can
So they
survive
were well
10 plane
safe
crashes.
in there, weren't they?
Yeah. Well, that's how you get in touch with us. Like I say, please do like and review on any podcast app you're on.
Share the living wheels off the.
We're also on
trailer.
YouTube. We try and keep that running, but we don't know whether to maybe. We're an audio podcast, aren't we?
We are. So currently YouTube's on.
Unless the fans demand in high numbers they want to see video, we won't. We're going to keep this audio, and that's where we're at.
It's got to be really high numbers. That.
Yeah.
We'd have to think what we'd have to do to the bunker to get that ready for filming.
We'd maybe have to get a bit of funding from crowdfunding or something if we needed to do that.
Maybe we could use Lord Ponsonby.
Yeah.
Because
he's vulnerable now, isn't he?
He's looking at a windfall because he's...
is he?
He had life
From the
insurance,
airline?
Yeah. He's got life insurance. He's going to be able to sue the airline.
As long as it ain't Thomas Cook.
Oh, well. You know that Herr Crowther's now blind and pushes him around?
Yeah.
It's a shame that the plane crash didn't rob Ponsonby of his sight, because then it could be the blind leading the blind, couldn't it?
It could. I can write the law if you wish. Accident coming up next week.
Oh, bleach. He decided, even though he's paralysed from the waist down, he's going to clean the Unofficial Controller podcast level 7 bathroom and sprayed bleach in his eyes.
We better get on with the feature.
Or did he go paintballing?
Oh, a la Biker Grove.
Poof, poof.
Herr Crowther with his expert marksmanship, even with 2 blind eyes.
Wow, takes out his own boss. Just so he can make my line of the blind leading the blind be any good. Absolutely brilliant.
We better get on from this nonsense, haven't we? Right.
Game
Our
of the
feature.
decade. Feature. As we always say the word feature at the end of it, because we're a hokey cokey jokey podcast at the end of the day, even though we are literally...
We're quite good now. We've been doing it.
If they knew some of
Quite
the
a while.
production backing that we had, and some of the high-level fan base that we have.
We have. We've got a few celeb fans, haven't we?
Exactly. Anyway, so as we dust, they must be here for the Archer segment, because they can't be here for the gaming news. That's a fact. Anyway, so as we dust ourselves off and thank our lucky stars that we survived, we feel it's time to take a look back on the decade in gaming. What game stands head and shoulders above the others in our listeners' eyes? So, normally, Tom, we don't wheel them in. It'd be disrespectful to Lord Ponsonby to use that saying now. But we bring in the listener and we ask them what they think each and every episode. And recently we've been theming the listener around...
I've got you covered, don't worry.
Whoa. You're going to back me up. Okay.
First up is Comic Pictures, who's been really valuable to the rescue effort here. He's been doing a reconstructive drawing of the crash, ready for court.
That's fantastic.
He's just a great lad, isn't
Listeners, if you're like, "Do you know what, I really like this podcast, but some of these characters they talk about, some of these catchphrases they talk about, I want a picture, I want a t-shirt, I want a sweatshirt, I want a hat, I want a mouse mat, I want a pen, I want a Unofficial Controller podcast Switch carry case."
Head on over to Comic Pictures 79. I don't know where that came from. Comic Pictures 79, aka Adam the Artist.
I felt that was probably a new character coming out from you. The attired American astronaut, Major Tom, same name, happened to be out of town at the day of the crash. He's actually a survivor Apollo astronaut, and he's going to do the beg this week.
Is he?
The village tramp, Fagin Ray, shamed and forgotten member of the Ray family. He's going to do the beg this week.
Okay, he can do the bag at the end of the show.
Yeah. So anyway, Comic Pictures 79 on Etsy, or look up Comic Pictures 79 to have a look at his fine works of art mixed in. So he's got geek-related art from Batman to The Expanse. And if you add into that his Unofficial Controller artwork as well, you're in for a very happy place. Even the deceased members like Debs Babs can live in memoriam through the medium of a t-shirt, Tom.
They can.
Or a pen, or a mouse mat.
Let's get to a few of his picks for the games of the decade.
So what
for
does
him.
Old Comic Pictures 79 pick for his
Most
game of
emotional game, Ori and the Blind Forest on the Xbox.
Wow.
Cuphead, the most original. Forza Horizon 4, the most amazing technical achievement. Hellblade best graphics.
Which one's 4? The one where you got like a facsimile.
It's
of
the UK based one.
Yeah, that is.
Which looks awesome after seeing Bamburgh Castle in real life and then seeing it in the game. Looks very good in Northumberland. Uncharted 4 best script. Destiny best massively multiplayer online. Modern Warfare best shooter. Dark Souls 3 best adventure game. A few of his honourable mentions: Unravel 1 and 2.
It's a good game, though.
Limbo, nice little indies there. Hollow Knight, another great indie title, one of my favourites. The Golf Club 2019.
Pause. Comic Picture 79. Engage with me about the Golf Club 2019. If you can sell me on the concept.
Yeah, tell me about it.
If you can sell me on the concept, I might be. If it's cross play as well, I might be willing to do a few holes of golf with you.
Brave.
Brave.
Control. Now, this is a game that's been on a lot of people's lists and games of the year for this year, 2019. It's got me interested. I might pick that up. Doom,
50p.
really good. Is
Since
it?
the games, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Bargain. Skyrim, inevitable. Zelda Breath of the Wild, remastered Tomb Raider trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good shout, that is. They look good, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
The remakes. Or what's he talking about there? The remastered Tomb Raider trilogy. Those new ones, do you think, where it's like real life Lara, or
I believe so.
you can't be talking about Tomb Raider Anniversary on the PS2, can he?
I don't think so.
No.
Next up, we've got Boba Loba.
Now, what's his story? How's he
Well,
survived?
He was out on reconnaissance for the Unglorious Bar Stewards, which is a elite unit.
If you're an elite listener, stroke fan, you're an Inglorious Bar Steward.
You are.
And you may even...
If you've been here since day 1 or week 4 or 5, we'll let you off.
Okay.
Most of you have been recruited into what we call the Inglorious Bar Stewards, and every so often we send you out trying to hound either random gaming celebrities or just helping us promote the show, which so many of you do, and we're really, really grateful.
Humble. We are
very humbled by a lot of the effort you've gone to for us.
Dude, let's just both say on 3, 1, 2, 3, thank you.
Thank you.
That was on time. But
and we in return
for what they did for us over Christmas with the Christmas special, because that
Yeah.
went in so many people's stories, that got shared so much. We picked up a lot of new listeners, and we've rewarded those new listeners with this convoluted madness. But we'll get back to normal come January, week 1.
Yeah,
It'll be a normal show.
next week is back to the normal show.
This is what we would call
that period between Christmas and New Year.
But these last 2 episodes have been what we consider our Christmas special, our gift to our fans, the ones that have invested in the lore.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to care about a plane crash in the village, aren't they?
So Boba Loba, his personal favourites in no particular order: Forza Motorsport 5 and Forza Horizon 4. Cuphead, although it's brutally hard and I can't get past the second island.
Confessional. It's normally Doogie that's on here doing the confessional. But...
Skyrim again, Fallout New Vegas, Mass Effect 2, get it played. Black Ops 3, don't judge me, the only COD I hit Master Prestige in and has the best jetpack use of.
Good
and
effort,
Call of Duty.
Good effort.
Rocket League and
Good
GTA
call.
5. Oh, it goes on.
He does.
Project Cars 2, purely because it brought a bunch of us at work together for some friendly time trial competition.
That's nice.
Me and you are big fans of the time trial, pass the controller over couch co-op.
PGR2. It's one of our favourites, wasn't it?
Exactly. No cheating bunny hops. There are many more amazing games that have been released, he says, but I've not had the opportunity to spend enough time on them myself to give an honest opinion.
My gaming space. So many... What's his story here, Tom?
I'm going to run out of stories.
What's my gaming space?
Well, most of these are just core members. The Inglorious Bar Stewards were all out in action or on reconnaissance.
Or on the Christmas party.
Yeah, the Works Christmas party, which we couldn't go to because we were working.
Yeah, but which was held in the local market, the bigger town, because we're only a village.
Yeah.
They went there for an easel.
But, like true heroes, they were back as soon as the alarm was raised. A bit like
My gaming
how
space was
in Lord of the Rings they light the beacons to summon aid from the neighbouring town. We do that on a smaller scale. We light a candle, a tea light, in the window of the church.
I don't want to pull down on this hardcore law you got going on, Tom, but I've got a funny feeling a tea light candle is going to get well sort of pasted into shade compared to a flaming inferno due to 3,000 litres of burning kerosene.
Don't you worry.
Looks like Farmerton's had a plane crash. Hang on a minute. Look, can you see that tea tree light?
Don't you worry. Farmerton required and Market Garden will answer. Birthplace of the late Major Tom.
So you're going down. Market Garden is the local bigger boys' town.
Yeah, that's where I hang out. Okay, it's where the Panto's on most of the time. Anyway,
after all that said and done, what did My Gaming Space say? A loyal listener that's written into us.
My Gaming Space, so many to pick from, but I'm going to limit it to 3. Number 1, Cuphead, amazing and original. 2, GTA 5, that game is still attracting the numbers online. It's still going strong to a point where I think a sequel is quite a long way off. 3, Project Cars 2. I've made so many friends through PC, and because of that, it's my personal game of the decade. Next up, we've got the local owner of the fine gaming establishment, Finster Games.
We got the Finster Gamer. He's another one you should check out for his social media
great content on, and website.
And his website, Downright Circle Square.
Yeah.
I probably added a shape in there. I didn't mean to. Anyway,
what's he got to say?
I could put a list of hundreds of games here, but I'll try to restrain myself and keep it to a handful. Honourable mentions include Cuphead for the originality and simplicity in its design, Skyrim for its sheer scope and detail. My award for Game of the Decade, however, would go to Red Dead 2 all day long. It has everything. It's basically real life in the 19th century in terms of the mind-blowing, intricate details. Add to that the heartbreaking story and the still growing online, and I can't find a flaw. Unfortunately, I think that Fortnite is probably the most popular game of the decade. I've never played a battle royale game in my life, personally, is what Finster Gamer says. I had a little bit of a conversation with him. We were falling backwards about whether Minecraft could be game of the decade. But, you know, it's out
so
there.
Many to choose from. It's going to be hard, but we're going to be letting you know our top 3 from the general consensus at the end of this feature.
This next character, this is a listener that I think it was from like my mind wandering, didn't it? That he became a console serial killer. But we're grateful that we had Retro... I'm going to do the law for this one, Tom. We're grateful that we had Retro Gamer Thomas around for the plane crash because, like the jaws of life, we used him to cut tech off villagers.
Did we?
Yeah, like Lord.
Well, did you? I was.
Lord Ponsonbury got crushed by that piece of cockpit, and he was paralysed from the waist down. It was the black box and some of the avionics.
I just watched the YouTube footage of what a lot of the teenagers had filmed of it because I got out of there quite quick.
Horrific, yeah. That's like you. And Retro Gamer Thomas gnawed through the avionics to save Lord Ponsonbury.
Hero.
Yes. And
what's he got?
For that reason, he was allowed. I noticed it'll be in listener Stingray, I'm sure. He actually took apart one of his arcade machines and rebuilt it without eating it.
Restraint, pure restraint. I believe there's going to be a New Year's Day honours list as well, isn't there, for the heroes of Farmerton Market Square.
Wow. Okay.
What's Retro Gamer Thomas got to say then? That's he says it's a hard one, chaps, but I'm going to say Uncharted 4, GTA 5 again, another mention for that. Beyond Two Souls had me in tears. That game, but don't tell anyone. He says, well, you've told a lot of us. Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Shadow Complex. What a great game.
It's not game of the decade, though, is it?
No, good little game though. Nice 360 title that was. Heavy Rain, Detroit Become Human, but technically it's not a game I love. The way VR has made a big leap into gaming over the past few years. And he says, Happy New Year, chaps. Thank you very much.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 thumbs up emojis.
Very nice. New listener.
Dude.
I thought you were going to do the clap. Why did the name?
Well, you need to let me know. If we were in the red arrows, it would have crashed.
Insert clapping noise.
New listener.
June Shepherd 35 over on
guessing
Instagram.
What their new game of the decade? What their game of the decade is?
I've just got that. Terrible. It's very slow brain. For me, the best game there is a lot. Oh my god, crying emoji, laughing emoji. But if I have to choose one, it's Mass Effect Trilogy.
Triple heart emoticon. He loves
I'm
that.
glad they're a fan of the trilogy, not just the specific game, because it should be seen as a...
In my June Shepherd made themselves known to us. June Shepherd 35 as well. So June Shepherd 1 to 34 get in line. But June Shepherd 35, they've got the books. They've got everything, Tom. They've even got the 360 hard shell protect case that looks like a piece of Normandy heavy human armour that wraps around your console.
Really?
Oh yeah, June Shepherd, big fan. Anyway,
Next up.
Saturday Morning Gamer. Goodness knows what happened to him. He was on the church roof, luckily escaped.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing up there. He probably didn't want to pay for Farmington Market, so he was using his binoculars to watch the choir from a distance. While I've transitioned to retro gaming, says Saturday Morning Gamer, in the past few years, I still have to admit that PUBG was the game I've spent the most time playing in the last decade. That looks like a thumbs up emoji.
An argument there for a coming episode of the Courtroom Battle Retro versus New.
Very much.
So I might take that comment there. And...
So we're into the final stretch. 2 more, and
and then it's our turn. CJ Nintendo next. So difficult. So many good games released this decade, they say. However, if we were forced, we would have to pick Zelda Breath of the Wild because it was so beautiful. GTA 5 purely because we play it over and over again. Untitled Goose Game for Best Indie. Dark Souls for being so euphoric when you win.
Yeah.
Pokemon X and Y for introducing Civilion to the world. Also The Last of Us, Alien Isolation, Bloodborne, Overwatch, and so many more.
Why did you do it, Chloe? Why did you do it?
Put that word in and I will be your best friend for life.
We must say CJ Nintendo is a couple.
Maybe we can recruit them into our 2-man Overwatch fire team. Oh, have you not been playing that?
I have, though.
Good man.
I hate it. But I'm a man of my words, so I keep playing it.
Play it through great team.
Everyone's favourite gaming couple.
Speaking of couples and a family, the true family man, and
the man who's going to send us to the
and
bridge.
Also assault weapon expert in the Inglorious Bastards, Dougie McBain.
Oh right, okay.
He's been specialised, had some recent training in the law. I have a terrible memory, he says, so I'm probably forgetting about some great games from the start.
I'm a bit nervous about reading the law. Last time I checked, it was in like a 1980s colouring book, and most of it was your intelligible scrawled in wax crayon.
It's progressed a lot since then.
Oh, I bet it has.
Yeah. Big boy graphic designer marker pens.
Still producing the same
Adam
content.
the artist been giving me lessons.
Has he?
I have a terrible memory, so I'm probably forgetting about some great games from the start of the decade, but I'm picking games based on what he's played the most and still play. Choices are...
Oh, God.
What's that name? Overwatch, Resident Evil 2 Remake, Skyrim, Breath of the Wild, Rocket League. This decade also brought me the sequel to my beloved Shenmue.
In our 2-man Overwatch fire team, we've got room for Doogie, Chloe, no offence, CJ Nintendo, but I don't know what the male version of CJ Nintendo's name is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5...
NSP's in my team anyway, so that's 6. We've got a squad. Let's roll. Overwatch won't know what's hit him.
I bet they won't.
Where were we? Yeah, so he said saw the release of Shenmue 3 finally, but I don't think...
No, you stopped at Overwatch, so you got all the other games to talk about. Resident Evil 2 Remake.
Yep.
Skyrim. Breath of the Wild.
Rocket League. See, that mentioned quite a lot. This decade also brought the sequel to my beloved Shenmue, which even I cannot put into the list of best games of the decade, but the fact we even got it is enough for me. Good point.
So Tom, the long and short of all this, we've keyed all the listeners' information. No doubt we've missed someone. If we have, I really apologise. In fact, let's just check the last little bit of places where fans might leave their picks. Bear with me.
No problem. Just double check. It's worth. Don't want to miss anyone.
Daddy Zilla. He hasn't come back to us. No. I think that might be it.
It's a bit busy period for all the listeners, so thank you very much for taking your time to get involved.
If we did miss anyone, apologies.
Well, we've keyed in all the data, and
What
the green screen computer our main hub of all gaming news and technology in the bunker. And the general consensus is our community, Unofficial Control podcast community, is the top 3 games of the decade decided by you and us: Skyrim, Breath of the Wild, and GTA 5. I guess we can agree with some of that, not all of that. So, George, it's time for our games of the decade. One each, though. We're only picking one because we wanted to narrow it down to which one we thought, for us personally, this defined our game in this decade. Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I disagree. Because mine's
with those 3. Yours is another pick.
Mine's Red Dead Redemption 2. There's not been a game this decade, probably bar the original and maybe LA Noire, that's creeped into my mind space so much. There's many, many, many honourable mentions. Many. But keeping it slim, keeping it on topic, Red Dead Redemption 2, from the moment it's died, and I've played it a couple of times now, you know, what a game. Finch the Gamer eloquently sums it up when he says it's like an 18th century simulator. He's not wrong. A 19th century simulator. He isn't wrong. There's some bits in there, and even now when you play it, you see things like, I've not seen that before. Or
unbelievable. Unbelievable
little
detail
details
in the game.
Oh. And for me, and I'm going to rock the boat a little bit, Death Stranding came close for the emotions that it makes you feel in the game, but Red Dead Redemption 2 just outclassed it.
Yeah.
You know, that was a real work of art. It wasn't, you know, good as Death Stranding is, you know, it was a game that was put together in a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, the development time on Death Stranding is impressive, really, for what
we got.
Yeah.
And more impressive for me was how it made you feel all the feelings it wanted you to feel. Very eloquent in that regard. But Red Dead Redemption 2 was just a hair's breadth ahead of all that. And with its size and depth of scale and everything that you can do in it, that was my game of the decade. But everyone, bated breath. They've all sat here. Ponsonbury is wheeled closer to the speaker to hear the words of his favourite of the two of us, which is you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Don't thank me, thank the Ponce.
Well, yeah.
Don't ever shorten his name down on here again. It's technically illegal, so we'll call him by his full name, Ponsonbury.
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there. So he's wheeled closer to the speaker. He is keen to hear what his protege has to say.
Well, my closest 2 picks, there was only a year apart from them. They came towards the end of the decade, 2017 and 2018 respectively. I find towards the end of the console's lifespan, towards the end of the hardware, they really pushed the machines to their limits. It was tied between, same as you, Red Dead Redemption 2 and Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I had a long think about what I wanted to choose, and for me, it was Breath of the Wild. It kind of came out, and it was announced it was going to be released with the Switch as a launch title, and to me, that was all I needed to get that new console. I don't think I've ever been had that childhood feeling of excitement at Christmas replicated so much as in the day before I got that console and game. Mainly because of playing the game. The Switch was cool. It's great to get a new console as always, but I was just, couldn't wait. I went to work, got back in, waited till midnight launch, went down, got the machine, went back home, and the next thing I know, I'd been playing it for about 20 hours solid. Unbelievable amount of time put into that game. It was sort of, I don't know, pure escapism. And quite interestingly, we've had a younger... James has been playing it, hasn't he? James has been playing...
Yeah.
Got Breath of the Wild for his
James
Christmas.
Is the work experience boy who writes the script.
Yes, we should clarify
he
the
edits
law.
the show. He does everything. We just turn up like 2 overpaid prima donnas and read it out because we've got bigger boy voices.
Yeah. So he picked it up, and we revisited those opening segments, and just the running out and seeing Hyrule in this new
I'll tell you what
massive
I'd liked
expanse.
is they had obviously worked very hard to make sure, because I said to you, just go up those stairs again, the framing of the volcano in the background, the way the light shone through that circular opening of the Resurrection Temple, it was just like, yeah, that's been thought about, that's been planned, that's been artwork.
Absolutely.
Everything in there is almost a rope to pull you further into its world.
And starting out on that great plateau, it's a very well hidden tutorial area, and a great indication of what the rest of the game is going to be like. The crafting we talked about today, cooking, making stuff so that you can survive certain areas. And then I just remember like paragliding off the edge of that into the point where that is it. You can go anywhere. You can climb anything. It's unbelievable. I saw a lot in Death Stranding. Not all games have ideas from everywhere, but it reminded me very much of Breath of the Wild in its exploration and that feeling of freedom to tackle objectives and things in how you want to do it. Well, it changed a lot for the Zelda series. Got away with the traditional dungeons, which a lot of people didn't like and weren't very popular. But I think it's actually worked really well. There's over, I think, 120 shrines.
I liked them.
Mate, I'm the same. After playing it, I think if you could go back and... Because I've got faults with the game. No game's perfect. It is my game of the decade. But I'd like to have seen some proper traditional dungeons, especially in that environment as well, where you, I don't know, it's like tunneling down a cave and you come across this massive cavern inside and it's a dungeon and it's got loads of puzzles. They were kind of replaced by these shrines, which were kind of mini dungeons, but the skin of each shrine looks pretty much the same, which I think is very clever because it cuts development time, costs, etc., but also gives you lots of different ways to tackle those. With a great physics engine in the game. A few more things I've got written about it. The soundtrack.
This is the most eloquent you've been about any game.
It should be. It's my game of the decade. I wanted to put in a little extra effort.
I'm like, yeah, whatever Finch has said about Red Dead, and you're like, may I go on? Our next scene, Breath of the Wild's graphical art style. Let me do that.
I know, probably there's been a million videos about how good Breath of the Wild is and many other of the titles on the list, but this is how I feel about a game that, for me, has defined this generation. The soundtrack's pretty simple, but it relaxes you in a way that you just pick up the little noises, the ambient sounds that add so much to the world. The freedom, just going anywhere you want. Weapon degradation. Degradation, thank you.
That's how the bigger boys say it.
Thank you. I like to be educated on this podcast.
Well, I know it's your favourite genre.
He mocks me.
Or
Get used to this, listeners.
Or genre.
He likes to give me a... Wrestling fans will know the Ric Flair low blow. So, the weapon degradation...
Yes.
Get that right. It's quite interesting because you really struggle at the start. You've got like these wooden weapons that can catch fire and are no longer any use. They break dead easy from enemy attacks. Really made it a struggle and a feel for more of a survival game at the start. The game has a few frame rate issues, not going to lie. Some of those have been patched out. But if you're playing it now, you are going to be playing the best. You're going to see it. I don't think it's going to get any better. Voice acting was incorporated for the first time.
Oh no, I've heard 2 lines.
Yeah, there's not much. Don't get excited. No, not every character's voiced, like sort of Skyrim and such, which is a shame.
Well, I don't like the fact that Skyrim's even fully voiced because it makes a mockery of it because everyone's got
everyone's took an arrow to the knee.
Exactly.
And it was in development for a long time, and you can tell. I remember playing it, and I talked about a few frame rate issues, but there is no bug. I never found any bugs in the game. No game breaking glitches. It just ran so smooth.
Well,
really, other than those few frame rate issues,
themselves is they don't release anything that's halfway there.
They do not. No, I think. Well, there's been a few gripes recently, but you can tune into some of the older episodes to hear about those. But Breath of the Wild as a standalone piece, my game of the decade.
Okay, well, that's the feature. those that paid attention at the top of the show and those who are very keen to find out what everyone's been picking up over Christmas have fast-forwarded to the section we call Listener Stingray. When the big man makes a house call, you'd better be ready. These guys got in touch to show us their pickups from Stingray's boot. You can too, just hashtag Stingray's boot or email us at questions@unofficialcontrollerpodcast.com. I'm struggling, Tom, because I'm trying to do two things at once. And
It's
I can't
okay,
do
mate.
that. You can set the hashtag on Instagram, and if you want to follow us as we do this right now, get your phone out.
It's a nice interactive part of the show, isn't it? Where
Type in hashtag Stingray's boot on Instagram. Tick most recent, and you're looking to join us on our journey today for Sharaban.
Kicking it off in style, he's got himself a Mad Max collection.
He has, hasn't he?
The full set of films, including the excellent new semi-new Fury Road.
I've got the Mad Max game up on the shelf. Now, it was a download of the month, and I also picked it up because it was 25p or whatever. So I might start a playthrough of that as well. I remember that being a pretty good game.
Looks decent.
Yeah.
Sega Junkie up next with Mortal Kombat 3 on the Master System.
With all the bits as well, the instruction book.
How did that run on there?
Badly, I'd imagine. Radbash Gaming, he's got a selection of Funko Pops.
Devil May Cry 5, how much you paid for that?
Boys.
$30, it's not bad, it's worth it.
Dragon Ball on the Wii, Axiom Verge, World to the West.
When he's not chewing up consoles, he's collecting wires,
That's
it
what
seems.
I'm saying to you, look. He must have been that gorged from the avionics from the crashed plane.
He's actually rebuilding them to eat them again.
No, I think he's just been able to build some electronics. Because he's actually an electronic genius. That's the catch-22 for retro gamers.
Is it?
He's an electronics genius, but a little bit like a Batman villain. He's ended up sort of unable not to gorge on them. So even though he's the most incredible technical wizard you can
He's
imagine,
been making an arcade.
Look out. He has been making an arcade, but I was moving at the pace you like to move through the boot, so I was quickly moving on to TOX 1S, who I believe, in fact I know, is the better half of Boba Loba.
Welcome
to the show.
She's got a Rey Funko Pop, which is pretty cool, from the Star Wars sequels, I suppose you can call them. Tetris on the Game Boy.
Kirby's Dream Land, which is one of my favourite original Game Boy games.
Some quite cool looking X-Men posters in the background as well.
Here he is, the muscle of the show. Loyal listener Daddyzilla 80 and his family, which is Devinzilla, Mummyzilla and Carazilla, all huddled round the speaker today to find out who survived the Farmington crash 2019.
We'll hope you're not too upset.
He's got a copy of Trojan. I think that's what it says.
On the NES.
Yes. My eyes, as I get older, my eyes get worse.
Saturday Morning Gamer.
Yeah, pickups. He's got Rushdown, which looks like an extreme sports game for the original PlayStation. Oh my goodness gracious me.
A few Army Men RTS on the GameCube.
WCW Backstage Assault. Rushdown, Madden NFL, Loaded, Jimmy White's Defcon 1, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Siphon Filter on the original. Well, we must take a moment to say he took a copy of Rushdown in the Snow, being an extreme
quite a good
sport,
photo.
like what he did there.
Welsh Game Hunter up next. Said the missus dragged him round the shops, so led to some pickups. He's got Resident Evil on the PS4, Tomb Raider the
Steelbook edition though.
Last Revelation on the PlayStation, and a SNES game. A few other things.
Bite My Pixels looks like he smashed the back end off his Switch. Don't know what he's up to here.
Oh my goodness.
Limited edition decals finally installed to my Nintendo Switch by Tinfoil Spider. Cheers, baby. My shaking hands would have made a total arse of them. Are you telling me that he's stuck a sticker on that makes it look like it's actually see-through? I think he is telling us that.
He has done. That's really cool.
That's very cool, isn't it?
That's ace.
Well done, Tinfoil Spider and Bite My Pixel. Happy New Year to you and all the listeners that are joining us right here.
Retro Visions. He's a real retro man. He's got himself an Atari 5200. Got some controllers with that as well.
I like that dust cover he's got for it. That's very cool.
Yeah.
Bloody box full of games there, Tom. Retro Visions again with an Intellivisions. Daddyzilla again with a VHS
Fred Savage, the Wizard.
Copy of Fred Savage, the Wizard. Now, here's a man who pays attention to the law. This is a VHS he's picked out the boot and might foreshadow your choice. I don't know. Happy Joysticks.
Dead or Alive 3, that was a good game on the original Xbox.
It was,
Solid
yeah.
beat 'em up.
X-Men Legends,
Got
also
some
a good
nice
game.
Game Boy Advance games there. A Mario collection. Nice.
Yeah.
Who we
Very
got next,
cool
mate?
collection there. The Barber Who Games, long-term fan of the show. He's got some Switch games, Neverwinter Nights, Icewind and Dale. He's been and got himself some online Slapper Basher games. Daddy Zilla.
This is the last time he's going in because he's been on so much.
No, because Daddy Zilla makes the effort, Tom, and we're going to do the full turn of the wheel for Daddy Zilla. He's got all his Christmas presents here that he's picked up over the gaming period. He's got Game Boy Heat Change mug. He's got more NES games than I've ever seen in my life. Donkey Kong 64.
Mario Paint.
Donkey Kong 64.
Your favourite game ever made?
Well, only because it reminds me of a good time with you.
Okay.
Mario Paint, as you say. Pokemon Pinball for the original Game Boy.
That Mario Paint's got to be quite rare, hasn't it?
Yeah. I always even got some Mega Drive games. Global Gladiators and... Oh, what's that game? I reckon it begins with a Z, Zakan or something like that. I'm sure the listeners will get in touch and let me know.
Next up, Radbash Gamers got himself a copy of Judgment. You know
Good
that
lad.
game?
Yes, I'm aware of that game. It's on my pile of shame. Don't bring it up. Mine's smaller than yours.
True.
And he's got the album art the right way round.
Oh, has he?
Yeah, I believe it's got a reversible sleeve.
Dark Side 3, yeah.
Yeah. Game Boy Matty. He's
Bustin' makes me feel good.
Bustin' does make him feel good. He's got a suit. He's got a backpack. He also got the real Ghostbusters on DVD after I spoke to his mummy. And he's also got a load of Playmobil Ghostbusters. This guy, he's got it going on. Sega Junkie.
That's a cool sort of retro Sega post with Altered Beast, Streets of Rage, Sonic.
They're little bags. They're bags.
Yeah.
It's quite cool. First of all, I thought it was his duvet, was blanket, like you like to crawl up in when Mumsy's reading you a letter. IO were Retro Gamer Dad. Not heard from him for a while. I hope you well,
December
sir.
pickups.
He's got a video on YouTube to talk you through those, but it looks like he's finally arrived. He's got a Sega Saturn, and to play on those, he's got Zelda Breath of the Wild on the Switch, Luigi's Mansion, and Starlink. Radbash Gaming, I think he's been in, but I'll do you a cheeky another one with your Gamer Records one and your Doom 2 game. Boba Loba's arrived. He's finally picked up the Division 2.
£17 for the gold edition.
He says he can't complain, and I'd agree.
Yeah.
Welsh Game Hunter.
Mega Drive Mini fan as well, look. Oh, he's got Super Star Wars on the SNES.
And he's got the trophy, the glass
Jedi
trophy.
Fallen Order.
Flight of the Navigator.
Spider-Man Far From Home Blu-ray. Great selection of presents
and
there,
the
mate. Well
PlayStation
done.
lights, and it looks like he's laid that out on a PlayStation Christmas jumper.
Sharaban's got himself a Virtual Boy. Please don't be sick playing that.
Scroll. Hasn't he got a baseball game? Someone else must have. Sega Junkie.
Some of these
kicked him out. Retro Visions. He's got another Nick Cone. We're brutal to him.
Game Boy Matty got himself Playmobil Ghostbusters. They actually look quite good.
Yeah, we've done that. He looks happy, doesn't he?
Boba Labour showing off his Christmas selection of gifts. So many to mention there, but great haul.
Siphon Filter. Nice one to pick up because I think Toxis hooked him up.
Vince the Gamer showing his Christmas presents from
his
partner.
He looks
Great
like Vince
selection.
the Gamer's planning on taking his Xbox controller apart, turn it into a yellow one.
Nice. Cool stuff. Who we got left?
Wait, we shouldn't do this, but Daddy Zilla has told me his game of the decade. 2010, Star Wars Force Unleashed 2. 2011, Batman Arkham City. 2012, Diablo 3. 2013, Disney Infinity. 2014, Godzilla. 2015, Back to the Future. 2016, Ratchet and Clank PS4 Remake. 2017, Legend of Zelda, which probably puts that right at the top of that list for the green screen. 2018, Spider-Man. 2019, The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening. He's hoping to appease you there, Tom. I know I'm missing some, and hopefully I got the release years correct. Dang old age. I remember I only chose the games I've played. The games have advanced so much since the days of the Atari and the NES. I'm excited for the future as long as they don't go digital only.
Oh, nice point there.
Sega Junkie's impressive PAL set of games.
After that, we're on to Ash Games Room. Cool Borders 3. Nice title on the PlayStation. Danny Plays in the boot.
Well,
Sekiro.
Radbash Gaming's got the Master
multiple
Shield.
readouts, dude.
Oh, right, okay.
Way Out, Shadow of War, Fallout 76, Hitman and Sekiro from Danny Plays. Some great choices there.
Is that the full turn of the
I
wheel?
think that's the full turn of the wheel,
yeah,
mate.
because I think we've seen the Star Wars advert.
Oh, hold on.
Gamers.
Did you see that OG Gamer 550? Was he last week? With his...
He knows how to appeal to me,
He
OG
does,
Gamer,
yeah.
doesn't he?
I thought you'd like that one.
Someone's like, where's Peace Walker? I don't care. Look at all this PSP love. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Ozcat's posting up our post. He's a good man. So's My Gaming Space. So's Boba Loba. They're all in here.
Thank
Makes
you
me
very
cry.
much, guys. That's about it for the listeners' Stingray.
That's all the dips in the boot for our listeners. Don't forget to hashtag Stingrays boot or email us for your pickups to be read out. Tom, what's the story with the Raymeister this week? What's he been up to?
He obviously has been working tirelessly, pulling people from the wreckage,
Yes.
delivering first aid of like the highest quality. He's got a 2-day first aid badge, which made him chief first aider. Young Wayne Ray's son also helping out, and Trace. The whole
He's
family.
vertically challenged, so I guess he was going into all the small crawl spaces.
Yeah, dragging people out of there.
Wow, because he's Trace and Sting's son is Wayne Ray.
Yeah.
So just the listeners understand that Sting's his first name and Ray's his second name.
Yeah.
Oh, the beg. Should we do the beg? Should we bring in Fagin Ray?
Do it at the end.
We can't do it at the end
Why?
because we're going to fade to black.
Okay. Oh, we are. Yeah. Wheel him in then.
I don't think we can wheel him in. Let's just
Bring him in there in the new year.
In the new year. Fagin Ray will do the beg in the new year. But for now, before we launch into the boot, we will quickly ask you to like this show anywhere you get it, be it Pirate Bay, Teletext, iTunes,
CFAX.
Spotify, CFAX, on your 486 gaming PC, on your Windows Media Player version 1.0. We don't care. Like it, share it, tell all your friends about it. How are we going to grow if you don't show?
My brother told me about a...
You've just sculpted, without you knowing, you've sculpted your hair into a side part and you've got a very Hitler look in your eye.
Vorsprung der Technik.
Oh, wow. It's the only Germany knows.
It is.
Was ist
Yeah.
das?
Well, I was going to say, quickly talking about what we're just on about there, what we're available on. My brother told me about a VTech computer that we had one Christmas. And it was like a pad. Imagine the Apple iPad with Apple Pen. It was basically that, and you could draw, and it would appear on the screen. And I'd love to know if any listeners know what that was. I'm sure it was VTech. It was obviously aimed at children, and you could basically draw on the pad, and it would appear on the TV. Anyone knows, let me know.
We wonder why we never get much traction from our call to arms.
I know, sorry. We've done quite a few though in the show,
Anyway,
so we're good.
listen, it's time for the new releases. It's time for a peek in what we affectionately call Stingray's boot. We've done the pre-waffle. Now's going to be the bit that gets drowned out by the sound of his car ripping up the drive towards the village hall where we are today. And I must say, what's nestled between some counterfeit nappies and a dodgy copy of Battle for Endor this week? So these are the new release highlights for the week December 30th to January the 5th, 2019. Listeners, these are out in digital or physical, or will be by the time this podcast's in your feed, but could be region dependent. Spring stop, wow, wow, Tom, he's got a Lambert on his bottom lip. There's nothing in the boot. There's
What?
nothing in the boot, but
There's nothing there.
Pick a VHS.
There's literally nothing else out this week, I'm afraid, listeners. So we're going to take a VHS home each. I'm taking home Chevy Chase's National Lampoon Christmas Vacation because I'm not quite over Christmas yet.
Okay, and I'm going to take home a copy of Dick Tracy, the Warren Beatty and Madonna film used as a platform. But do you know what? I'm sure it's awesome. Tom, it's at this time where I must ask you what you're hoping to play.
I'm hoping to play more Jedi Fallen Order because I'm just really enjoying that. Going to have a few more matches on Overwatch. I've got a bit more time on my hands at the minute. What else? Call of Duty multiplayer. Luigi's Mansion 3, if I haven't already mentioned that. Yeah, just looking forward to playing some games over the Christmas break.
Okay, nice. I'm going to have a little bit more of a play around with Stranglehold. I feel like my palate's been cleansed. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I'm like saying that I'm 90% done.
Will you break out James's Switch and start a
No.
save file?
No.
No. Okay.
No, it's not mine. It's James is.
Okay.
I don't want to invest into a machine that I don't get to play on.
Okay.
Might wield out that Mad Max, but I think I'm pretty ready to go into a Mass Effect 2 with my Mass Effect
Excellent.
1
I
save.
cannot wait for you to play that game. I just want to hear whether you dislike all the moments I liked and see what happens, because it's a lot more branching.
Okay, well, I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
Because 1 was pretending to be branching when it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I guess that's it, really. We're going to wrap up a little bit differently, though. I'll do the outro, and then we're gonna go into song, aren't we?
We are, because it's been a
New
tough
Year.
time in Farmerton, and the village has rallied. We're going to go into this new year.
So let's everyone link arms. Tom, link arms. I'm going to link arms with Deb's Bab's headless corpse. You're going to link arms with Ponsonbury's wasted right arm. Probably best to link arms with Herr Crowther. And I'm going to say that's all we have time for this week, listeners. As always, thank you for your time, and we look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming, and remember, there's nothing wrong with being given an official controller. It's what you do with it that counts now. Link arms, listeners.
And he's my trusted friend, and give a hand of thine. May your acquaintance never end, for old lang syne. For the sake of